Hello, beautiful artists. I'm still playing with this really fun Lightwish set. It's 24 pans, loving the colors, has every color in it I like. Just so easy. I've got my little mixing places here. I'm actually using 140-pound cold press paper. This is theirs that, let's see, I pulled out of another Lightwish little journal I had. So that's why it has holes in it. But I thought we could paint this fun little tree. I always like painting trees. Trees and leaves are one of those things that, you know, I paint to relax at night and such. So I already spritzed my paints here. By the way, if you didn't see my first tutorial on this set, this all reclines. The clip isn't included. Single pigments, love the color choices they've got. Nothing worse to me than you get a new palette and you have to have another palette because it's missing a couple colors you really like. So this one had all the really good colors that I like. I'm going to use this gold ochre, which is really fun. It has more gold in it than a traditional yellow ochre. I'm going to use, of course, some of my sepia, or in my laying, that's Van Dyke Brown, and the green deep, kind of like an olivey green. So we'll play with some of those colors, but look at the colors. Aren't they great? Really vibrant. And they're really creamy. So as soon as I sprayed them, they got really creamy. They're not chalky at all. I love that. That's another kind of pet peeve of mine is chalky paints, which is typically from, you know, they're just an inexpensive paint. I'm using my 8 brush, but you know what? You could also use, one second here. You know, I love my Velvet Touch. You could use that. I've got that right here too. You could also use, remember, if you're a beginner, make sure you grab, I'm getting the whole set here. You get a whole set of these Dagatos. There's like 10 of them. They're all round, but it's under $15. And I've been using these for years, you guys, and they're still great. So I think I might even use those. Let me grab, let's see. I think I will grab my, this is a 7. I'm going to grab that, get that wet. I've got my wash and rinse water here. And this is going to be damp and damp. So I'm going to start with this pretty yellowy gold in the background. And I think I'll actually use that gold ochre. Let me show you what that color is. It's really pretty. Ooh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to water it down a bit. So it's about 50-50, 50 paint, 50 pigment. And see how this is resisting? If you want, if you don't like that, sometimes with plastic or enamels, they do that. Just go in with light sandpaper and you can scratch it up and it'll stop doing that. Okay, so let's go in with that wet on wet. And just going to start adding that in here. Trees to me are just so fun. Trees and actually leaves as well. There's something about them I just love. So while that's wet, I'm going to go in, maybe add just a bit more. And see too, I'm leaving white space in there. So I'm adding a little more color on my brush, adding in some darker areas. Rinse my brush real quick because we are working wet on wet, about 50-50 water, tap, tap, tap. And now I can start, so that's a little too saturated for me. There we go. I just added a bit more water, tapped it off. And I'm going in on some of the underneath areas just to add some different colors. Maybe just a tiny touch of that, they call this yellow deep. I really like that color, actually. Yeah, that's pretty. Looks like I have a tiny bit of the green mixed in. Look at the color of this tree. Isn't that fun? There we go. Rinse my brush, tap it off. I can soften some of that. I can even pick some areas up if I want. Okay, let's go into the tree trunk. What I'm going to use for that is our good old handy dandy angle brush, because I can use the very edge of it and get a really nice line. I'm going to mix their Van Dyke brown, which is that deep dark brown. They actually call it sepia, and some burnt umber. And let's create a trunk here. Look at that nice spine edge. And then just flicking over, maybe get a little bit wider. I've even got a little dry brush going on there. So fun, right? I think I'll add a touch of black. I think this is their lamp black. And then before that dries, I'm going to grab my round brush, add a little water, and let's pull this out. So it looks like it's on a little mound of grass. There we go. Use some of that brown. Nothing too fancy here. Oop, oop, oop. I love the dark brown, what they're calling sepia. There we go. And let's do, I'm going to add just a tiny bit to that tree. So a little dot more of that green. Now, if it isn't wet enough, tap, 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 I can go in and add some water above it. I'm just dotting in right here just to create some fun shadows. So my light source is kind of coming from this side, which is why I didn't do as many dark areas over there, but look how pretty. So I've got a little drip there. I can just suck that up. Go in with a tad more dark green in there. There we go. So fun. I love this little kit. But I'm a huge fan of the anything portable or fun. So what I did right there is I wet my brush, I wiped it off because I didn't like that hard line. And then I just went in and with a clean brush, I kind of went in those little circle motions. I can do the same thing, rinse off my brush, soften that line. And you can do this with anything, your florals or anything, and just soften those lines a bit. I feel like I just want a little touch of maybe that gold. It's so pretty. Oop, too much water there. Didn't tap off my brush. It's so pretty. Love that gold color. They're calling it gold ochre. It's like yellow ochre, but it's definitely got gold touches in it, which I'm loving. And I'm just going to add that in here and there, going in those swirly motions. Now, if I want, I can soften those edges by cleaning my brush off like that. Look at the gorgeous colors here. Is this the prettiest tree ever? Just because I love these colors. There we go. It's a little short and squatty at the top because I ran into my clip there. So let's just extend that a bit. There we go. A little bit more of those colors. Oop, I ran into it again. Let's see here. I've actually got this on the little plastic cover they give you. So I can go up like that. Ugh, what a pretty tree, right? Could do some more of that gold. Just tapping in here and there. Maybe some of that. I mean, get crazy with the colors, you guys. You know me. I love all my colors. Especially right now in fall, just so many pretty colors. Let me lift up just a bit so you can see that. Tiny bit of water. There we go. And now I'm going to add in, so I'm going to soften those edges again. I'm going to add in some branches. Wet, damp brush. Going in circles to kind of blend out so we don't have such a hard line. Now we'll add in, could even use, you guys see I keep seeing stuff, some more shadowy colors here. Like that. Just to give that sense of shadows underneath. Like that. Oh, so pretty. Could probably use a couple up here. I really like their dark green. I think it's quite lovely, actually. There we go. And then damp brush, just to soften those edges again. There we go. Okay, enough of that. Let's go in. And you can either use the very tip, so you would want really light pressure, or you can use your angle brush to get some lines. Where did I put my angle brush? Oh, and how cool is this? This little kit comes with, while I'm looking for my angle brush, you can keep your pens and pencils in there, which I kind of appreciate that. Okay, so I'm going to go in and let's make some, I want to make sure and do this when this is dry, and just create some branches coming out here and there. See, that's not dry. I'm going to hit this really quick with my heat gun. There we go. I can tell it's dry enough because it gets light in color. And let's start adding some branches here. I think I'll use this. I'm going to hold this. So light pressure. This is where so important to practice your thick and thin strokes. Maybe I'll share another tutorial on that because I think it's really important to be able to create those, especially in situations like this. Tiny bit of water. Like that. Isn't that a pretty tree? Don't want to do too much here. Just some interesting little peekaboos with the branches. And I think that's even enough. Then on the bottom here, I'm just going to add some little, like as if some of these leaves fell. Get some of that gold. And like that, maybe a tiny bit of green. Because it is fall. And there you go. Isn't that fun? All right, you guys, I hope you give this a try. I love, like I said, painting trees, especially in fall. I'm having a ball with this kit from Lightwish. It's just so fun, so easy. And, you know, I'm all about playing and having fun. So I hope you guys give this a try. And I'll just be right here reminding you, you are an artist. All right, happy painting, everyone.